To channel. Today we are going to see about Salmonella. Salmonella is a gram-negative bacilli and it's present mainly in our intestinal tract in large numbers, especially in our human beings. So we are studying it. So major diseases caused by them are enteric fever, gastroenteritis, and septicemia. It's named after the microbiologist Salmon, so the name Salmonella. And there are about 2,300 serotypes. And the genus Salmonella, which is very important, is a typhi, that is a causative agent of typhoid fever. And next, other members are S. paratyphi B, C, and also Typhimurium, Enteritis, Gallinarum pulorum, and Annetum. So these are the other different species. And let us see the overview of Salmonella. These are widely distributed in nature. Transmission route mainly fecal-oral transmission. And the Salmonella can cause a variety of diseases including gastroenteritis and enteric typhoid fever. So what are the biological characteristics? They are similar to the common characteristics of Escherichia coli, that is E. coli, and Salmonella Shigella. So these are the three having same type of characters. So what are the common characters shared by them? First, let us see the morphology and structure. In morphology, you have it's a gram-negative bacilli and it's motile with peritrichous flagellae. You can see peritrichous all over the body, and they're non-capsulated. You can see no capsule around them. They're non-sporing. They doesn't form any spores and may possess fimbriae. So this is about the short. You can see short gram-negative, measuring 2 to 4 millimeter in length. Flagella, pillae are common. And next, coming to the biochemical reactions inside the cell. So actually it is H2S positive and it is non-lactose fermenter, and it's S. typhi does not decarboxylate or enzyme. So this we need to be important. Here you can see lactose fermenting testing. E. coli can ferment lactose. So it's comparison between E. coli, Shigella, and Salmonella because three of them are gram-negative bacteria. So the enteric pathogenic bacteria cannot ferment lactose. Their sole source of nutrition is glucose. So the enteric pathogens can't ferment lactose. This you need to remember. And coming to resistance, the resistance is relatively weak because they can be killed at 60 degrees in 15 minutes or for 30 minutes, and it's killed also by boiling, chlorination, and also pasteurization. So they are very weak. And coming to pathogenesis. So in the pathogenesis, we can say they're causing many diseases including stepladder pyrexia, splenomegaly, rose spot rash, diarrhea, anorexia, coated tongue, malaise, and also abdominal discomfort. So why all this is happening? First, how this enters our enteric system we'll understand. The infection is mainly acquired by ingestion of this bacilli. So they reach the gut and attach to the epithelial cells of villi. So after reaching there, they penetrate the lamina propria and also submucosa. And next, the phagocytosed by the polymorphs and macrophages. Our macrophages come there to actually kill them, but they are resistant. They enter even the macrophages and they are resistant to the macrophages. So they resist the intracellular killing and multiply in these cells. And next, they enter our mesenteric lymph node and multiply. And finally, enter the thoracic duct, enter the bloodstream, transient bacteremia. So whenever it enters our bloodstream, we call it as bacteremia primary. And this bacilli is seeded in the liver. From blood it's very easy to enter into many organs. So they get entered into our liver, gallbladder, spleen, bone marrow, kidney, lymph nodes, lung, and also many other organs, and multiply further. So they cause a massive bacteremia. This is called a secondary. So primary is in the bloodstream. The secondary bacteremia, when this enters all these major organs, then it is called as secondary bacteremia. So this is nothing but leading to onset of the disease. So this is about the pathogenesis and the clinical findings. It's causing typhoid fever, gastroenteritis, and other sites of Salmonella infection may be also seen, and of course as we discuss in other organs. Now let us say about typhoid fever. It's the most typical illness, a severe life-threatening systemic illness. It's characterized by fever, frequently abdominal symptoms like diarrhea, etc. And the patients experience gradually increasing fever with non-specific complaints including chills, sweats, headache, weakness, sore throat, cough, and diarrhea. So untreated mortality is about 15% among survivors. The symptoms generally resolve in 3 to 4 weeks. So by 3 to 4 weeks we can reduce it. The timely and valid antibiotic application reduces the mortality less than 1% and speeds the resolution of fever. So if not treated, it may also lead to mortality, so we need to be careful. A small percentage of patients become chronic carriers. So you can see the rose spots, rose colored rashes on the abdomen are associated with the typhoid fever. So these are the rashes which are seen in the typhoid fever. And next, gastroenteritis, the most common illness, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, usually non-bleeding. So this we need to remember, the gastroenteritis is usually non-bleeding and generally self-limiting up to 48 to 72 hours. And other sites of salmonella infection are abdominal infections like liver, gall tract and spleen, and also causing the septicemia. And next, we need to know about the laboratory diagnosis, because we need to find it for sure, and we need to find a treatment, vaccine for this. So the laboratory diagnosis is mainly isolation and identification of bacteria from the clinical specimens, demonstration of antibodies and demonstration of antigen. We do it actually by using the specimens we take is blood, stool, urine, bone marrow, bile, pus from the suppurative lesions, and also cerebrospinal fluid is taken sometimes. So you can see the specimens and spear the typhoid fever. For the typhoid fever, we take the sample during the first 1 to 2 weeks of illness, and the stool sample is taken during 2 to 3 weeks, because it need to reach till the enteric system and also reach the digestive system. So we need to check the stool only after 2 to 3 weeks, and the special in chronic carriers and bone marrow at any weeks. And the gastroenteritis, we take the stool sample. Of course, it is related to gastric problem, so we take the stool sample. And the culture, where we actually, the salmonella typically isolated from samples on the selective media. So what are the selective media? We need to know. The different selective media we use is Wilson and Blair medium, and also jet black colonies with metallic sheen by H2S production salmonella, and green by the species which do not produce H2S. So that we can understand, green is by non-producing H2S species, and black colonies is by H2S producing species. Actually, salmonella is a H2S positive, so it of course mainly forms the black colonies. And also culture media we can take in blood agar and nutrient agar. It shows grayish white and transparent colonies, and in McConkey's agar or in deoxycholate citrate agar, it shows colorless colonies. You can guess, because it is non-lactose fermenting, so it causes forms of colorless colonies. And specific test we do is Widal test. Not only Widal test, there are many other tests now we are doing. That is Widal test, indirect hemoagglutination test, counter immunoelectrophoresis, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, that is ELISA, and also radioimmunoassay RIA. So all these things we are doing along with Widal, but the Widal test is the most common test which we do normally. So next, coming to the principles, prevention and treatment. So here, public health and personal hygiene measures, food and water sanitization, hand washing. Vaccines are available, but protection against salmonella is limited. And treatment is carry on antibacterial treatment, antibiotics, antibiotic resistance sometimes, so we need to change antibiotics constantly, keeping water and electrolyte balance, because because of diarrhea there is lot of dehydration. And there are nowadays parental vaccines and TA vaccines, and are also vaccines of purified VIAG, and there are also oral vaccines which are given. So its infectious can be treated mainly by antibiotic sensitivity testing, because of emergence of multiple drug resistance. So these are like chloramphenicol, ampicillin, cotrimoxazole, ampoxicillin, ciprofloxacin, and other fluoroquinines can be used. So these are the medicines which we need to use for this. How to demonstrate the antigens? We can demonstrate this in the early phase of the disease, when the antigens are present in the serum or in the urine of the patient. So the test we do for this detection of antigens is mainly coagulation test and ELISA. So by doing this, we can easily find out that urease negative, and also they ferment glucose and mannitol with acid and gas, except Salmonella typhi, because it is anaerogenic. That is, Salmonella typhi forms only acids. Media we use mainly are blood and fecus, and for blood and fecus, and for blood and bone marrow we use bile broth, and for fecus we use buffered glycerol, saline, and other specimens should be transported to the laboratory as early as possible, because they may get dry again and we can't check them clearly. To remember, there are 4 antigens present in the Salmonella, that is H flagellar antigen, O somatic antigen, VI surface antigen, F fimbrial antigen. So this is all about Salmonella. So if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe.